Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the OK Grognard Show. It is Monday, October 5th, 2020, 10 a.m. Central in beautiful Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. It's Monday, so it's weekly news and announcements day. We'll be talking about Autumn Revel, and then maybe we'll do a little recap on virtual Rehab Con. Sign up for my events for Autumn Revel. I think there's a couple of seats left. Check them out. It's a cool sandbox based off of the Giants modules, D&D fame. It'll be a continuation of what I did at Greyhawk Con, and then I'll be doing it again at Gamehole Con. So it's just a sandbox. People will keep taking characters. Characters will be reserved. So those pre-gens that people used last time will be set aside. If they play again, they will get to use that. Otherwise, there'll be a fresh set of other player characters, pre-gen characters for people that are just joining for the first time. So there you go. That's 1 p.m. Central on Saturday and 1 p.m. Central on Sunday at the Autumn Revel for those two things. We'll be doing the OK Grognard show from there as well. Did we lose everybody? George, you're still with us, huh? How about you, Hobbsy? Jay, did I boot you out by accidentally having all that tech problems? I had a few restarts here on the show this morning. I just, I don't know what the dealio was, but I don't know if I was, I don't know if it was operator error or if I had some problem with recording due to some internet problem. I don't really know what happened there. I just know I had two false starts for the show and had to restart because now we're at, 22 after. Well, we'll do a slightly shorter show. There's not a lot to cover. I did want to mention on the stream again for the recording that Heath got the giveaway from last week. It is a second badge for him, so he's going to designate a family member, perhaps his son or one of his buddies who he games with down in Adelaide or thereabouts to join in the fun for virtual Gamehole Con in November. But this week we're looking at this Autumn Revel, so yeah, me too. Thanks, George, for sticking around. Had a few hiccups there. Seems to be cleared up now, though. But you know what? I've kind of covered everything I need to cover. I've got the dates and links in the will be in the show notes for the Autumn Revel, so go check that out. Virtual Gamehole Con, early November, first full weekend. Go check that out. You know, I keep a link in the show notes for my buddy Johnny Gilbert's. You might know him as Yoda Stein on Twitch for his Extra Life for Kids thing. So if you get an inkling to help the kids out, definitely chip in through his donation link that's in the show notes as well. Also, hey, I don't mention this often enough. David Lee Pancake is the guy who did this wonderful bookshelf it's a piece of artwork that I use as a backdrop. It's titled Wizard Study, and it's pretty nifty. I want to see if I can do this. No, that's not it. There we go. I kind of bigified it. No, that's not it. I need to click there. There we go. No, that's not moving it around either. I'm moving stuff around and I don't even know what I'm moving around. So there you go. Anyway, that's not the full thing. You can take that link and go to David Lee Pancake's artist website and check out the full Wizard Study, or also check it out. Check out a lot of his other work. He does not just paintings, but also sculptures. that sort of thing. The logo for the OK Grognard show. I would like to mention that lovely piece is done by Malcolm McClinton, an artist. He did this a while back. I was part of a Kickstarter that was doing stock art and monster art and standees, basically two-dimensional monsters that you put in a little clip and they stand up and stand in for miniatures, right? And I was in it for the stock art, so I could build up a supply. I've used quite a bit of it over the years, but the gelatinous cube was already going to be a thing that McClinton was going to do the art for the project, and there was a bonus level that you could pay to go on and ask for something to be done, something special to be done for yourself, something custom. And so what I did was I said, well, you know what? Take me and put me in a gelatinous cube. So that's me being sucked into the cube there. I'm in armor. I have a sword and shield. On the shield, of course, is the griffin that we like to use. This is something worth talking about. This is kind of an announcement sort of thing. So check this out. Years ago, I started working on the system. If you look in the bottom right-hand corner, you'll see MF Wars G&G. MF Wars is an acronym for Medieval Fantasy Wargame and Role-Playing System. It's something I've been working on since the advent of the OGL in the early 2000s. It's a big project. It was always a side project, something I revisit from time to time and do a little work on. In particular, the role-playing thing, the role-playing aspect of it, is called Griffins and Grottos. Well, since that time, somebody has published, I think, a book of monsters called Grottos and Griffins, and they even spell it differently. I don't know if that's going to be a problem. I've sent messages or emails to people that have tread on these things since then. There's a video game that uses roughly the same name as my own homebrew setting since 1974, which I call Grimwald. There is a war game system that I've worked on and demoed at Con back in the day a few times in a few different forms. It's evolved, which I call Surcoat, just a kind of a homage to Chainmail, as is Griffins and Grottos, and an homage to D&D. It's never been something I've spent a huge amount of time on, because ultimately, I'm not looking to just create a fantasy heartbreaker. Basically a D&D clone with one or two of my house rules prominently displayed to show that I can do a game system better than the masters, the giants whose shoulders I sit upon. It was never meant to be that. It was more meant to be a sort of a streamline, but also a sort of a culmination of a couple of things. Because as we recall in the upper corner of video, the original plus advanced idea is takes its lead from the fact that we all played, those of us who started in 74 all played original D&D, and then over the course of 3 years, 77, 78, and 79, for those of us who stuck with original D&D until we moved on to advanced D&D and didn't venture into basic and those various offshoots. For us, when we got the monster manual in 77, we were able to incorporate the monsters right away into our games. There were some things that needed to be explained in the monster manual to us about the stat blocks, things that were included now that hadn't been included in the monsters in original D&D. So they were expanded, made easier to use was the idea. They were certainly more explicit. And then, of course, when we got the Player's Handbook next in 78, suddenly there was this wealth of ways to approach playing a player character. And, of course, now you got weapons with different, they're not all just doing D6s anymore. You've got the possibility of using weapon speeds, using the tables for weapons against particular types of armor. A lot of that, I think, a little unwieldy. I think a lot of people tried those things and then maybe shunted them aside. I was in a conversation with somebody the other day who says they don't even bother with the encumbrance. If you're not pushing what the DM thinks is the limit, then it's just kind of ignored, because who wants to spend time doing that when you can adventure more? And I get that. That's cool. Anywho, there we are, incorporating the Player's Handbook, and then, of course, the DMG comes out. DMG in 79, a lot more advice-driven. There are definitely some clarifications, rules clarifications, particularly in regard to how some spells work. There's a whole section on that, with sort of an FAQ on problem spells that the year before, when the Player's Handbook came out, were problematic, where they got letters, oh, how does this work, and now what's the range, that wasn't included, or it doesn't say how you target or what you can target specifically. Different little idiosyncratic things that needed to be cleared up. Anywho, Original plus Advance kind of embraces the idea that the two games were sort of merged into First Edition, and even as people were playing First Edition, because they had played original D&D, when there was something that wasn't addressed in First Edition, you just fell back on what you already knew as being the norm in original edition. Every now and then, I'll play with somebody who started with First and has never played original D&D, and we'll get to a point where something will come up in game, and they'll say, how does this work? And I'll say, oh, that's just this. Where does it say that? You know, it doesn't. It doesn't really explicitly say how that works in the way I'm describing it, but that's how we used to do it when we were playing original, and it just carried over. So there's an explanation for that, and that helps fill out the time a little bit better, because with the hiccups and the problems starting up and having a couple of false starts on the show today, I kind of ran around talking a lot about the events at Greyhawk, virtual Greyhawk Con that we ran, and then also how that is going forward. But I think I explained that. Anywho, there you go. I am going to say that we've done enough of a show today. I know it's a short one, 15 minutes, but we've really done a half hour. It's just, I've only got 15 minutes of it recorded, so there you go. Lucky you. Well, I'll tell you what. Thank you for those of you who are following the show. Appreciate it. And appreciate you chiming in when you get the chance. That's always kind of you. I will add you folks in who maybe weren't in there because you were busy yesterday with gaming over at virtual Greyhawk Con. Oh yeah, Lord Gasumba was here today, so we got to put him in. It's kind of him to stop by. And Hobbsy, there we go. Hobbs was here earlier during the first round before everything went sideways. Anywho, got everybody in there. Thank you very much. If you are not busy this week, oops, what's going on with that? Oh, of course. This is the advertisement for Insteading with the Giants. Saturday, October 10th, 1 p.m. Central, Sunday, October 11th, 1 p.m. Central. OK Grognard Show will be doing those at 10 a.m. Central on Saturday and Sunday as well. So, if you're here tomorrow, Cartography and World Building, 10 a.m. We've got campaign discussion on Wednesday, GMing tips on Thursday, building adventures on Friday, GM reviews on Saturday, a rules retrospective on Sunday, and then we're back around the horn to weekly news and announcements. If you're catching up with us on YouTube, thank you very much. Please do subscribe to the channel and give us a thumbs up on the video. And if you have some constructive criticism, throw it down in the comments. We always appreciate anything anybody can say that will help make the show better. Be kind. Thank you very much. From the OK Grognard Show in beautiful Lake Geneva, Wisconsin, bye-bye.